That's right. No team orders. Unless we say otherwise.
Unless we say otherwise.
That's right.
And George, you better be ready. Because team orders are coming for George after watching these practices today, Scott.
Well, it kind of looked like, looking at the practices today, two things come to mind. Number one is Kimi is kind of destroying the grid so far. I mean, again, we don't know if everyone's turned up their engine. We don't know about the run plan. We don't know what the fuel flow was. But it kind of looked like the Kimi Antonelli show to me, to tell you the truth. Everyone else was kind of way, way behind. George was in another planet from Kimi. I mean, he wasn't even in the same zip code as Kimi Antonelli.
Kimi is Godzilla, and everybody else is just the little guys that he's stepping on the way to the title.
Yeah, he really looked quick. Although I got to tell you, there's a wild card here. That wild card.
Who's that?
Is
Who's that? Who?
Scuderia Ferrari.
No way! No way!
Remember the last race? Didn't they sandbag a little bit?
They sandbagged a little bit in practice. Yes, they did.
No, they sandbagged a lot. And my boys and girls at Ferrari sometimes do that. And remember, they rolled up to the Red Bull ring. See, Red Bull right here. They rolled up to Red Bull ring with an upgraded power unit.
That's right.
They upgraded their power unit for the first time. They're going to do it again. And they don't look any faster than before they upgraded the power unit, which leads me to believe the evidence shows. I think they practiced with a turned down engine.
They're sandbagging.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Lewis was 0.6 behind Kimi with an upgraded engine.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. No.
They don't want anyone to see their pace. Now, do I think they're going to be as fast as Merck on this track? I don't know, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than 0.6. A lot closer.
Now, the McLarens they look pretty racy in practice, and we know they don't have the reliability that the rest of the grid has. Can they make a podium? How can they do in qualifying tomorrow? Do you see it or nah?
I kind of think George is going to be right there with Kimi like he was in the first practice. And I got to tell you, I think a certain 7-time and some would say 8-time world champion, depending on who you ask, is going to be right up there competing, certainly for one of the top 3 starting positions, because I think when Ferrari does turn up their upgraded engine, they're going to be in the mix. Now, will they be faster than Kimi? I don't think so, but I think I think Lewis is going to be close. And Charles will have to see. I mean, he was still 2.5 tenths behind Lewis, a common theme this season, kind of shockingly to me, but it is what it is. It's like a flip of last season.
There are 2 things. Now, if Lewis, say Kimi wins this race, and Lewis comes in second or third, and Charles is like 5th or 6th, is this now Lewis's team?
It'll never fully be Lewis's team. Charles has been there for 8 seasons, something like that. Charles is, I think, just about the longest serving Ferrari driver ever, just about. He is beloved, I can tell you, because I have a lot of friends at Scuderia Ferrari. They love him. They're definitely getting to love Lewis. They're listening to Lewis clearly as to how to develop the car. I don't think it'll ever be Lewis's or Charles' team. I think it's going to be both their teams for different reasons. I think I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, it's very interesting that you said that a lot of people are saying that the reason why people are gravitating over to Lewis's side is because he knows how to develop a car. And he knows how to develop a team. Now, remember, Charles has been there, like you said, for 8 seasons. He's really had no hand in developing a team. He's really had no hand in saying, hey, well, we should do it this way, because he hasn't been at another top flight team. I mean, Hamilton's been at McLaren. Hamilton's been at Mercedes. He's seen how they work. He's seen what they do. And he can bring that experience to Ferrari, whereas Charles was just there and he was on a junior team and he doesn't have that experience to bring to the team.
Charles is a product of the Ferrari system. I mean, Charles is Ferrari. When I think of Ferrari, I don't think of Lewis. I think of Charles. When I think of Lewis, I think of Lewis. When I think of Charles, I think of Ferrari. And Charles is an insider. He's friendly with all of them. He grew up with them. Lewis didn't. And historically, when Ferrari has won in the modern era, they have won with an outsider coming in and shaking up that culture. And that is what they wanted from Lewis. I mean, people on Ferrari told me when they hired him and give Carlos the boot, the reason they wanted him was to change the culture, to act as a change agent, to not accept the way things were, to shake up the system and to bring winning ways from his outside experience that have worked for him and worked for two teams and got him those 7 world championships, to bring that to Maranello. So the reason they're listening to him is they wanted a change. And so, yes, it's Lewis's team in the sense of he's going to be more influential in developing the car. Emotionally, I don't think they'll ever love Lewis the way that they love Charles, because he's one of them and Lewis is an outsider. But they respect Lewis a lot, and they're really getting to like him, and they're listening to him because he knows how to win.
You know, one guy who's not getting the credit that he deserves? Louis Serra, the aerodynamicist who left Mercedes and went early to Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that's in charge of this whole aero package that is the best on the grid.
No, there's no doubt in my mind that Ferrari has the best overall chassis on the grid. They don't have the best power unit. They're way behind because they opted for those smaller turbos, thinking they were going to get a huge start and get track position, and then Mercedes, bless their heart, convinced the FIA to change the rules to take away Ferrari's advantage. But Mercedes is really good with politics in the FIA. I give them credit, which is one of your jobs as an F1 team. But yes, Ferrari produced a very bad car last year, but have produced an outstanding car this year. And when they do get that second engine upgrade, I kind of think it's going to be the Red Bull of 2023 all over again, because they already have the best chassis. They have a bad engine in terms of engine power. It's much weaker than the others. And once it is up to snuff with the Merc engine, combined with the better chassis, I do think it may very well become the leading car. It's just Merc has such a big lead because they have such a great power unit component and always have. And they have very good drivers and great continuity and great execution, great pit stops, great strategy, that they have such a big buffer that it may be hard for Ferrari to catch up. We'll see what happens at Red Bull Ring, though.
You know, one thing that people also are learning, and this is kind of breaking news in the last, I think, 2 days, is that last year Lewis had a crash and he didn't divulge it, but he had a ruptured disc in his neck. And so for 9 weeks, he was going to therapy and taking drugs and taking shots. And he said, you know how they sit in that car. And he was saying it was very uncomfortable. He couldn't sit in the car. And then you combine that with Roscoe passing away.
Well, could you imagine pulling 5 Gs when you're braking like this, and when you're doing lateral load and having a broken vertebrae? Talk about pain. That's real pain. I mean, I can tell you, just driving a GT3 car where you can pull maybe 3 Gs, 3.5 Gs. When you get out of that thing, even if you don't have a pre-existing injury, you are so sore all over. You feel like you've gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Adding a broken vertebrae, I mean, that's huge pain. And it's probably also a limiting factor a little bit in braking and some of the cornering situations, whether you realize it or not. But the reality is, even if his neck was perfect, the car was garbage last year. And that's why Charles didn't do so well either last year. They did not do a good job with the last ground effects car. By contrast, the year before, in 2024, they almost won the Constructors' Championship. They came within 15 points. But 25 was a disaster year. 26, they said they were going to sacrifice 25 for 26, by the way. And that seems to have paid off. They did very little development of the 25 car after the first few races, and they put it all in the 26. And I got to tell you, as a chassis, Ferrari is spot on this year. They have a great car. Look at the way that it handles the corners, the curbs. It doesn't get upset like some of the others that jump over them. And the Red Bull's all over the place, the McLaren's all over the place. And this thing just, absorbs the bumps. It's smooth. It's composed. Ferrari did a great job with the chassis. Once they get the power, look out. They're going to be playing sort of the Max Red Bull game at the second half of last season, where they're catching up to this time Mercedes, like Red Bull was catching up with McLaren in the second half of the season. That seems to be the dynamic that I think is going to go on in the second half of this season. It's going to be very much, I think, like the second half of last season, where you have an established leader from the first half, this year Mercedes, and you've got the upstart this year Ferrari, who's trying to catch up. And so I think
that will be super exciting, because that's what the fans want to see. The fans love seeing Lewis on the top step. They'll love seeing Charles back up on the top step. And a Ferrari, Mercedes, a young versus old, if Lewis is the lead car, and then, of course, Kimi's the lead car, that will be great. Like the childhood hero of one, and then the young upstart. I mean, the headlines, they write themselves, Scott.
No,
They write themselves.
if Lewis stays on form, you could easily have a situation at the second half of this season like Max, chasing the McLaren drivers at the second half of last season, where Lewis is catching up, although the gap isn't as big as it was last season, where Max almost closed like 100-point gap. He came within 2 points. Lewis's gap is only like 40 points, 41 points. So it's definitely possible. So this is a big deal, this race at Red Bull Ring. If Lewis can close that gap a bit, and he gets it down a little bit into the 30s, the low 30s, we've got a really interesting season on our hands, I think.
Now, let's totally segue and get into the silly season that we all love and some of us hate. Now, Racing Bulls, again, in the news. We're talking about my guy. And Liam Lawson's kind of grown on me. He's actually doing pretty good this year. And they're already talking about jettisoning the guy for Nikolai Tosov, who's number 2 in they used to call it GP2. It's not called GP2 anymore. It's F2.
That's right. Yes, Nikola Solov from Bulgaria, otherwise known as the Bulgarian Lion.
Bulgarian Lion.
From 3 races. He's a Red Bull junior. He's very intense, very aggressive, super fast. Clearly has the talent to be in F1, but so do other drivers like Mr. Fornaroli, who won F2 and F3 as a rookie and still doesn't have a seat.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's definitely being touted for F1, and suddenly the publications all came out and said that Red Bull Racing Bulls is guaranteed a seat, which the team intensely denied. I don't know what to tell you. Liam Lawson is 10th in the standings, 10th in Drivers' Championship. He's considerably outscoring Arvid Lindblad. He's got more than double the points. Lindblad has 13 points. Lawson has 28 points. Liam is having the season of his career. He's got a bunch of races in the points. It would be a real injustice to pull him, to fire him, in my opinion, when he's doing this well. I find it hard to believe they're going to boot the senior driver who's killing it right now. I mean, really, the only other driver who's performing this well in the midfield is Pierre Gasly. I mean, the two of them are the kings of the midfield this year. And you're going to fire him? Get the hell out of here. You're not firing this guy.
I hope he doesn't get fired, because I believe it's an injustice, and Liam deserves to be there for another year or 2.
He's earned the seat. I can't believe they fire him. But the purpose of Racing Bulls is as a training
to be at Red Bull.
So anything's possible. I'm not, but what I think is more likely to happen is Solov goes to Racing Bulls for a year as a reserve, and then they reconnoiter and think about what they're going to do. Lindblad shows a lot of promise. He's having a good rookie season. I don't think they're getting rid of him. And Isaac, so far, seems to be a pretty worthy number 2 to Max. I mean, he's not beating Max. Nobody thought he would. But he's also getting into Q3 all the time. He's qualifying better than any of his predecessors. And he's making a credible run of it, as I predicted pretty strongly that he would, because I said he was better than his predecessors. And so far, he's proving to be better than his predecessors.
Well, the other news on the grid is they're saying that Esteban Ocon is going to get the yank.
You know, for a personal level, I really like Esteban. He's great to fans. His rags to riches story is very moving. How the family had to sell their home and he lived out of a camper. He's a lovely person in person. He's a race winner, obviously. Hungary, P2 in Brazil. Had a podium in Monaco. But he's getting pretty badly waxed by Ollie Behrman. And I think, having watched F1 for 30 years, my supposition, my belief is that if he doesn't significantly improve, this is his last year in Formula One, which makes me sad, but that's sort of how Formula One works. The team is denying it, but we'll see.
He's had a good run. I mean, he's been around since, what did he start? 2011, 2012?
Something like that, or 13, 14, maybe a little more recently than that, maybe more like 14 or 15, I think, with Manor. He had a year in Manor, and then he went to racing. He went to Force India, and then Racing Point. Then he lost his job, I think, because of the Strolls came in, and Lance needed a seat. Then he was on the bench for a year at Mercedes as a reserve driver. Then at Alpine with Fernando. I mean, he's had a long career. He's still young. He's still young, but again, it's all about performance. And Ollie.
Okay, his rookie year was 2016.
I was close. I said 15. Okay.
Right, yeah. And so
he's getting waxed. He has 3 points.
He's getting waxed. And who do we have supposedly going there? We got my guy Yuki. We got
I don't think Toyota's going to push hard for Yuki. He's not a Toyota driver. He's a Honda driver. I don't see that happening.
We have the Toyota driver. What's his name?
Ryo Hirakawa, who is a WEC hypercar winner, as well as a Le Mans winner. And he's done about 1 million FP1s already with Haas.
Okay. And then who
Toyota's going to push for him, not Yuki. I can assure you that.
And then we have one other driver.
I think is more likely to get it.
Who
is Rafa Kamara?
Yes,
the F3 champion, who's Ferrari Drivers Academy. I think he is more likely to get it. I think he's maybe leading the F2 championship now. Kamara is excellent. However, I'm not sure Haas wants to give Ferrari both seats, given that they have a huge partner in Toyota. I'm not really sure they want to give him both seats. I will tell you, McLaren may very well pay handsomely to put Leo Fornaroli in that seat. I think Fornaroli is the most deserving person on the grid for that seat, being an F2 and F3 winner as a rookie. Only the really best drivers do that. I don't think he'll get the seat, but on the order of merit, he should. Kamara has enough talent to be in F1. That's a really strong pick too, and more likely than Fornaroli, who's not in the Ferrari Haas family. But Toyota could really push for a Japanese driver. They're doing a lot for Haas. They're their partner, and I wouldn't be surprised if they push for Hirakawa.
You know, the crazy thing, and it's a sad thing about F1, is that you really have to be at the right place at the right time to get your seat, because it's obvious that Ollie Behrman deserves to be on one of the top teams.
No doubt.
But you got Lewis, you got Charles. They're not going anywhere. Lewis is at the top of his game right now. Charles is one of the best, I think, one of the top drivers to never win a championship. You can't get rid of either of those guys. And Ollie deserves a seat at Ferrari, but you're just going to have to wait, Ollie. Then, on the other hand, would Ollie go and take a seat at, say, like if Aston Martin has a seat available, would he go there?
Is it really a step up from
No, it's a
Haas?
step down.
Not
Step
right
down.
now.
Yeah. Right now. Not right now. Maybe in the future, but right now, stay at
Yeah.
Haas.
I think he would stay within the Ferrari family and stay at Haas. To tell you the truth. Look, if a seat were to open up at McLaren, that's a different animal altogether. British team, Ollie's British. Yeah, I think he would, but I'm telling you now, Zach has both of those drivers on lockdown. There are, of course, some wild, silly season rumors about Max switching with Oscar. That's not happening. Let me tell you.
There's no way that that Zach Brown is gonna deal with Max and his dad. There's just no way. That's not happening.
And I just don't see, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see Max leaving Red Bull for another F1 team. They give him too much freedom. I mean, yeah, the car has some problems. I mean, the engine's good, but the chassis needs work. Clearly, you saw that in practice today. Both Max and Isaac were very unhappy. Isaac's team radio was very colorful as
usual. I love his radio.
It's funny. The first year as a rookie with them, he was quiet. His radio was quiet. The first year with Racing Bulls, rather, his radio was very quiet. He got media training. Now that he went to the big team, the radio's come back alive again, and the real Isaac Hadjar, Mr. Passion, is back. But look, Red Bull lets Max be Max. It's basically his team. They let him do anything he wants. And I don't think for a second that Zach Brown or Toto Wolff would give him that kind of freedom. I just don't. I mean, he doesn't have to do promotional events. Did you know that? He doesn't have to do promotional events.
No, because that's what they got Yuki for. Yuki was in San Francisco. Yuki was in Seattle. Yuki was in Arizona. Yuki's all over the place.
And I don't think for 1 minute either Mercedes or McLaren would let him do nothing. Because at Mercedes, you're a part of one of the world's great car organizations, Daimler-Benz. And I say that as a Mercedes client, as someone who's done some promotional videos for them, unpaid, for their driving academy, who stays in their paddock club. They
unpaid.
No, very. I have to pay, and it's expensive. But I go to their track days, so I'm in with the Mercedes family. I love those people, just like Ferrari. I do things with them too. I always pay for them too. But the reality is, it's a big organization. And they are proud of that organization, and they are an organization. And they're not going to let somebody like Max come in and do nothing for them. No way. It's just not who they are. No way.
Let's switch gears and talk about Fernando Alonso, who saying he might come back to Aston Martin, or he might go with his buddy Flavio, because Flavio wants you. You come. We got Gucci. You come. You be with us. You make lots of money.
He denied it today. He actually gave a speech today in the paddock and denied it and said he will finish his career on the road with Aston Martin. He's committed to the organization. He wants to win a championship with them, whether he's driving or in management. Driving
or in management.
Yeah, driving or not driving as part of the organization. He wants to win a championship with Aston Martin.
Now they really need a principal. Could Fernando Alonso be a principal?
Yes. Of course he can. He lives racing. The guy lives and breathes racing. He's like an older Max. When Fernando isn't driving in F1, he goes home to his go-kart track and drives the go-karts, and he develops young drivers. Yes.
Would you put a guy in the forefront of your organization with the scandals that Fernando has had going back to the McLaren days?
Well, Alpine didn't mind putting Briatore in, and they're doing better under Briatore than they have in a while now. So I don't think they'll, for Fernando was never banned for those scandals. He was never found to be the one who was doing it. It always seemed to be allegedly somebody else, like Flavio. So yes, I think that I expect and would not be surprised if it's some combination of Wheatley and Fernando running the team. I mean, clearly Jonathan Wheatley is going there. There's no doubt. Everyone knows that. It's just a matter of when his gardening leave is over, he's going to be at Aston Martin as the team principal. And Fernando, I think, will be there in some capacity.
Now, the one thing since we talked about Flavio and we know the Gucci merch is the Gucci car is just gonna be the best car in the grid. It's gonna look the best. We all know it. We all know it. And I can't wait to get the merch. I know the merch is gonna be fire. Fire, fire, fire. But if Flavio's entertaining bringing back Fernando, does that mean Franco, who's having the best time of his life right now, who we both like, is he if someone is there for Flavio to grab, is Franco bye-bye?
I think Franco's going to stay. I think Flavio likes Franco's sponsor money, and now Franco's gotten much closer to Pierre in performance. Now, look, if he tanks it the second half of the year, he's gone. But if he continues to perform close to Pierre, um, Alpine needs the sponsor money. I think it's never been a rich team. Renault doesn't give them enough money, frankly. I think they like and need the sponsor money that Franco brings. So long as he's close to Pierre, he's got a lot of charisma. He brings a lot of fans. He seems like a pretty nice guy to work with. They like him. Flavio likes him. He probably keeps his seat. He's being perceived in the paddock as safe now.
I hope he keeps his seat. I love Franco. We both remember we talked to him in Monza last year, and
You did when he was with his
yeah,
dad.
he was with his dad right in the parking lot.
He had a bad race.
Strange. He had a bad race, and he was down. And I talked to him for a second. You were getting in the car, like I don't know. We're trying to get out, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go talk to.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go talk to Franco real quick." And so we're rooting for Franco. I can't wait to see qualifying tomorrow. Thank you for joining us for our first show.
Grazie
One
mille.
of many. What'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say? I heard some Italian going on in there. What'd you say?
That's right. Ferrari hat. It's an influence, right?
Thank you for joining us at No Team Orders, where you have Scott. And today, for some reason, I put Racer X. I've always wanted to be Racer X, ladies and gentlemen, all the way back to when I used to watch Speed Racer. I am Sherm, but you can call me Racer X. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you with our post race analysis on Monday. Full send, full stop.